there's a conspiracy theory around this record. I don't know if you know about this, that involves 9/11. Theorists think that this was a warning that 9/11 was going to happen. What's in your mouth? Oh my God. What's on your face? What is wrong with you, man? Oh, good Lord.
I'm too much.
Could you not have eaten those before we started?
That is my shtick to start the show.
To start the show and like fill your mouth with donuts. That's
I gotta rinse it down.
Oh, wow. A blast from the past. You had all this set up. This is so great. You're like so excited to do this.
I was ready to go, man.
Fireball.
I was like, I'm going to shove my mouth with Timmins and I'm going to rinse it back with Fireball.
Oh my God. Look at you.
You know what?
What?
I needed way more alcohol than that to get through Supertramp's Breakfast in America. I'll tell you that much.
Oh no. Didn't like it. You didn't like it?
Ooh, bud. But we might as well throw the rating screen up right now. We might as well throw the rating graphic up. Go home, everybody. You know what, Brent? Let's talk about what you did today, because I'm sure we'll get a more interesting conversation out of that than from this album. Anyways, I'm being a little harsh now, but
okay, I was gonna say, wow. So why did you not like it? Too poppy?
I have no idea what it is about this one, man. I was trying to go the like, oh man, maybe this is like Rush or like Bowie or something, where it's like really cool, like songs that take you everywhere, and you know, and they do, but my goodness, just not enjoyably. And these were not. I just did not enjoy. Really, I think there's one song I enjoyed.
Well, okay. Wow, it's gonna be a short evening.
It might. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm really sorry. I know we show up here on Thursdays for an in-depth look at these albums, but
no, we show up every Thursday to talk about your impression of these albums and what's to be learned about these albums, right?
Yeah,
it's probably high time that you didn't like one of these.
It's a good point.
We're on episode 56, 57.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know. And look, if they do a great job of taking you to different places, bringing in different instruments, going ups and downs, they do a really good job of that kind of stuff. But I didn't enjoy it. And because of that, I had a really hard time listening to every song on this album.
What did you, had you heard any of these songs before?
The Logical song.
Okay.
And Breakfast in America, because I think it's like the beginning of some pop punk song. Take a look at my girlfriend. That was, and I hate that song too.
So do I. And I haven't even heard it.
You don't even know it. I can't remember who did that song. It was like a remake, not of the entire song, but I think at least of that part. So that was what I knew from there. And then just taking a look at this song list now. I think that was it. Oh, Goodbye Stranger.
Yeah.
Just because it kind of feels like Grease, a show tune from Grease or something like that. And Take the Long Way Home.
I was going to say, you probably heard that one, yeah.
Yeah, but I really only know Take the Long Way Home. That was it. And after having listened to this album, that's still all I remember from the song.
You know what's really funny about this record is that these guys are from the UK. I don't know if you knew that or if you care.
That's hilarious.
But
no. I'm just kidding.
No, here's the thing. So they've sold the most units in Canada. You think about markets around the world, not the US, not the UK, their home, Canada. this Canada is the only place where they've sold, I believe, 2 diamond selling records, which is 10 million. So 10 million Crime of the Century, 10 million this one, Breakfast in America. And they're only number ones. They had 2 of them with Dreamer and I think The Logical Song, I think. But yeah, so they love Canada. Canada loves them. Wow. Except you.
Yeah, Canada's not a very good judge of musical character. That's what but they make great Timbits.
Oh, there you go. Put another one in your mouth.
Well, they used to. Now they're just frozen.
You probably don't have much more to say about this. I may as well start talking. I'll just do all the talking. You just eat the Timbits.
I'm here, man. Well, I'm here to watch Brent Jensen's Thursday Night Record Club live. Yeah.
Timbits and bourbon.
Yeah. Sorry, but I won't. I'm not. That's the last time I'm going to eat. Probably not. No, but I'm going to say it's the last time. So,
be my guest. It's.
I am. I am currently going to be your guest on this.
Oh, right. I'm gonna be hosting the show.
Yeah, tell me. Well, okay, so it is like that is pretty huge. They did sell a lot of units with this album, and honestly, for the life of me, I don't get it.
You know, it's really funny. So here's something that you'll be even more amused in or by. They had 2 records before Crime of the Century. Crime of the Century is regarded kind of as their first record because it did really well and it was kind of like their launch pad. But they had 2 prog style records before this. I don't remember what they're called. But the first one did okay, and people thought, okay, these guys are all right. And the second one sold less than the first one. And so everybody quit the band after that second album came out. And so Supertramp was almost done. But Supertramp basically is 2 guys. It's Roger Hodgson and Rick Davies. So those guys, Rick Davies formed the band. He brought Hodgson in. They put those 2 prog records out. They did not do well. The band was kind of over. The band used to be called Daddy also, by the way, which is a bit peculiar. They were convinced to rename the band Supertramp after an autobiography of some sort. I don't remember who wrote it or what it was called, but Supertramp was in the name. I think it's a cool name. But yeah, so Crime of the Century came out, and it was like, if this doesn't hit, we're done. The band is done. And so, yeah, the pressure was on, and the record is good. I mean, I could have picked Crime of the Century. That would have been interesting if I would have brought that one in. If you would have liked it, you probably wouldn't have. Supertramp is an acquired taste. It really is, because it's poppy and it's not conventional. You know, there's guitar, but there's not a lot of guitar. There's a lot of piano. There's a lot of electric piano too, right? It was a big record. Like this album, I think sold like a lot. Like I want to say 20 million copies. That might be I might be overshooting that, but it sold a lot.
A lot, yeah. Yeah, they won a Grammy in the 80s for best packaged album.
Yeah.
Well, I think that had anything to do with the sound, so maybe that's telling them something too. But no, sales, not awards. Yeah, it's you know what, I'm not trying to say that like it had to be rock, it had to be guitars, it's got to be this, it's got to be that, you know, because I think I've got a pretty good, you know, musical, I don't know, whatever you call it, you know, I enjoy a lot of music and I enjoy it in different ways that it comes. But for some reason, this, I think, combined with the vocals again. I know it's the vocals that are tough in a lot of these songs, but they felt, I feel like I'm not old enough. I feel like I think about people who like Supertramp and they're I wouldn't even say sophisticated, but like older people who were like, oh, like I liked this song when I don't even know when you could have liked this song.
When you're 10.
Because even when I think what?
When you're 10.
I guess so. Hey. Oh, this guy.
Yeah.
Brett, sure. I don't feel like I'm there. I feel like maybe give me another 20 years or something, and maybe I'll come back and be like, yeah, Supertramp, I kind of get it, but like my dad didn't like Supertramp, or he's not a big Supertramp fan, but my mom really did, and she was a big big Crimes of the Century fan. Went to go see them live for that tour. But I was just, I don't know. Nothing clicked with me listening to these songs.
Wow. See, I will admit, I mean, as is the case with a lot of these records, this one has a huge nostalgic pull.
Okay.
Particularly in the songs that played on the radio. Because I heard them when I was 10, you know, and not by choice. They were on the radio, so I heard them all the time. And, you know, there's that, right? But obviously, you know, we've talked about that before. You don't have that same, you know, connection to music. So
I know, but it doesn't mean, like, again, we've been through a lot of albums. There's a lot of albums I picked up, I really liked, and, you know, like, again, I think about Bowie's, Spiders from Mars, right? Like Ziggy Stardust.
Yeah.
Like, I think about that, and maybe people are like, well, how could you like Ziggy Stardust but not like Supertramp? You know? But I think it just had to do with melodies, and I had to do with how those songs drew me in, and these songs just don't do that for me. There's just so much happening. There's a lot of noises, there's a lot of things that they're combining, and it just is not working for my, you know, hippocampus.
Look at you. I also feel like it's a very joyous record, right? It's supposed to be very upbeat. I mean, there are some songs,
and I have no joy.
You're a joyless cretin, and
yes,
I think that's why you dislike this album like you do. No, I can see why. And again, I have to be careful how I say this, but I can see why younger people would not like this record, because it's very glossy and it's very kind of joyful, and, you know, It's Raining Again is not on this record, but it's kind of like that, like, it's raining again, you know what I mean? It's very like happy, sing-alongy. That was the intention here, because those guys were not talking really. The Hodgson and Davies, the two leaders of the band, were not really talking during the recording of this record. They, you know, depending on what day you ask them, they would say, oh no, you know, we always had differences and we still have differences, but we kind of dealt with it. You know, we didn't see eye to eye, but we tried to make the best of it. And this album, as a matter of fact, was supposed to be about that very thing. And one of the songs, Casual Conversations, touches on it. The fact that they didn't, I think they respected each other, but they didn't like each other's kind of approaches, you know, like Davies was like a working class guy who came out and he was like a rock guy. And Hodgson was like this guy who went to, like, I think he went to prep school, but he came out and he's like, he loved pop, you know? So right away they kind of shouldn't have matched, but they did. They got along at first, and they wrote songs together that were good. I mean, Crime of the Century is a great record. But then they started to really kind of, you know, listen to each other's songs and go, I don't like that song. And they would have it out, and they just would go to their separate corners after a while, and they weren't talking. And so this was kind of like, this is their apex. This is regarded as like the beginning of the end. Breakfast in America for Supertramp. Hodgson left, I think, one album after this, Famous Last Words. But yeah, they were supposed to, you know, record this record around the idea that they didn't like each other and they didn't respect each other's opinions, or they didn't care for each other's opinions, rather. But then one of them said, it's not going to work out. Let's scrap that, and we'll try to make this a fun album to listen to. So let's make this kind of a bouncy, fun record. And that's why they called it Breakfast in America, was because it was supposed to be around the wonderment of, like, you know, Breakfast in America as a UK person is like, wow, you know, it's kind of, the skies are opening up, and, you know, there's fun to be had, kind of thing. And that was their intention with this album. And that's probably why you don't like it. You heartless cretin.
That's me. I don't know. I guess. It's great. It's great facts. No, I don't know, man. I'm okay with happy. I'm okay with fun. I'm okay with, you know, I love Barbie Girl by Aqua. You know, like I have fun. You know? Wow. I'm a fun guy. You know?
You are a very fun guy. I will attest to that.
So it actually disappoints me that I don't like a joyful album a little bit. But I know I was talking a little bit about vocals, and it's not all that, because like there's also it reminded me of Geddy Lee. Who's singing, who sings?
They both do. Hodgson and Davies.
The high pitched voice.
That's
the high
Hodgson.
pitched is
Hodgson sings falsetto.
Yeah.
Like
So
really
so that's kind of like a Geddy Lee type sound, and obviously I'm good with Rush. So it's just, I don't know. Again,
that is true.
I got no explanation.
So let's go back into that for a second. So you liked Queen.
Okay.
You liked Rush.
Yeah.
What else did you like?
Well, Guns N' Roses was, I'm good with, but
yeah,
I'm
just trying to think about concept-ish records, but like Rush and Queen, you were good with.
I think it's just melodies, man. I think it's melodies throughout this album that are just, I don't like them.
They can be kind of music-y.
Quote unquote joyful melodies.
They're very like happy. Yeah. There's no grit.
Yeah.
There's no grit on this record whatsoever.
I guess.
Yeah. See, that's my problem with Boston. When we talked about Boston, that was my problem with that record, is there wasn't any grit on that. There isn't on this. But you know what? I will say that probably the reason why I do like this record as much as I do is because I did listen to it at a very early age, and there's a nostalgic draw there. So,
well, and we're all over the place. I know we've started to show song titles to separate each song for everybody, but that's probably not going to happen on this episode, just because I have no real intention to go song by song on this album, unless you want to, Brent. For sure, you carry away. I'll sit here and eat my Timbits. But the beginning of "Goodbye Stranger" is cool. Like I will say, like I like the way that starts and some of the melody, but then it gets to the, I'm not even going to try and do the high pitched "Goodbye Stranger" point. But it just, once it gets there, I'm like, you lost me.
Yeah, I can see that. Songs about groupies. You don't like that?
Oh, yeah. No, that's cool.
Yep. Endless groupies.
Cool. I don't know why that's cool. That's interesting, I should say.
That's cool.
That's cool. Oh, that's cool.
What can I tell you about this record?
What else you got? What else you got, Brent?
They kind of, yeah, there you go.
I lied, folks. I'm sorry. I had that.
Go ahead.
I'll put it down.
The American market didn't care much for this record, as I remember, because they thought that they were being made fun of. So, because if you listen to songs like Breakfast in America, they talk about American culture, right? So there's a line in there that goes, can we have kippers for breakfast, mommy dear, mommy dear? So it's sung from the perspective of somebody from the UK going into America and being like really dazzled by, the American kind of lifestyle. And it says, gotta have them in Texas because everyone's a millionaire. And so the reason why I like that is because when I was 10 when I heard this record, I heard that song on the radio, and I do remember hearing that line and going, like I shared that kind of enthusiasm about going to the USA, right, as a Canadian, because it was like everything was like, you watched TV, you watched NBC, CBS, ABC, it was like everything was like going off all the time, like bang, bang, bang. America.
They had Cocoa Pebbles and Count Chocula, absolutely.
All of it. The stuff that wasn't available in Canada was available in America. It seemed like the center of the universe when you were younger, if you had a kind of a line into it through the TV or through media. And I really related to that. And it's funny because, like, if you're from the UK, the weather there can be a bit, kind of rainy and cloudy and dreary.
Drab.
And so, he talks about girls in California in the song. And
see, I love California Girls by Katy Perry. I have fun. I have a fun, joyful. Yeah.
You don't have to defend your stance on this record. I totally get it.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, it's and those kind of sweeping kind of generalizations, right? Like, you got to have them in Texas because everybody's a millionaire. Like when I was, Dallas was on TV, so I was like, he's right. Everybody is a millionaire. Just watch Dallas.
Okay.
So you this mindset is being created for you. through this record. And I think that, again, there's a power in that somehow. So,
Got it.
But not for you.
Maybe this is
you're old enough to resist.
Yeah. Well, yeah, this is definitely maybe a Sign of the Times album, whereas maybe didn't age as well as some of these other albums we've talked about, which I think is kind of a first for me. I feel like a lot of albums from the 70s definitely aged really well. Like there are albums that I want to put on now and you can put on, and it's like,
oh yeah,
this is great. Sure, they sound different than what's out there today, but they've aged well. So they call it. That's why they call it timeless rock, right, Brent?
Timeless.
That's why they
not classic.
Timeless rock.
Timeless.
No, not classic. Exactly. So I find that interesting. I do feel like it just didn't maybe make it out of the 70s, like early 80s, like Foreigner didn't make it out of there either, or Def Leppard's Pyromania.
Foreigner really saw the 80s coming. They had what was that record called? Agent Provocateur, I think. And they had I can't remember what the single was, but it was huge for them. They had some very kind of 80s friendly ballads, and they did all right.
Oh, yeah.
Lou Gramm left the band in the 80s, but that album did very, very well for them. Yeah.
Got it.
So
what is the ballad on 4? I heard it at the grocery store the other day.
Waiting for a Girl Like You.
Waiting for a Girl Like You.
You heard it?
It's I heard it at the grocery store, on the grocery store radio. Took all of me not to bust out into a interpretive dance, and
you didn't?
I didn't. I know. I know.
Disappointed.
I can't imagine. I used to work in a grocery store, and like all those songs that would come on, you just knew them. It was just
totally.
Oh man. And so I don't obviously work in a grocery store anymore. I shouldn't say obviously. I don't work in a grocery store anymore, but it reminded me. I'm like, man, people hear this song a lot. They probably hate it. I'm so glad that I heard this song for like what I believe is the first time recently, so I could still enjoy it while I'm in the grocery store.
See, that's funny because, it's the same formula, right? I think about that song, and had I not heard it when I was younger, I don't know if I would like it as much, because it is pretty syrupy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty syrupy. Sure is.
Yes.
Yeah. What about the gumbo across the water line? What do you know about that word?
Jumbo jet. Yeah.
Oh, jumbo.
Yeah.
I was thinking gumbo.
747. No.
Got it.
Take a jumbo. Got to see America.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the thing. They got into a bit of trouble there, because they were kind of poking fun, as English say. They were taking the piss. Do you know that expression?
I believe so.
Yeah, just like making fun of. They were making fun of the American culture, the American lifestyle, and not really, just kind of like pointing out things like California girls and rich Texans and stuff like that. But America did not like that. And they showed it with their wallets. They voted with their wallets. And a lot of these records, or a lot of these songs, like singles, didn't really do that well in the UK, particularly Breakfast in America. And you'd think, America being in the title, it would be like, whew,
This is us.
But
this
it wasn't.
Is about us.
Yeah.
We love us.
Didn't like it.
That's not a blanket statement, Rennie, Bobo. I'm just saying. It's not a blanket statement.
So
we love
funny.
America. Brett's got friends in America. America's great.
I love America. I can honestly say that. Over the last 10
America.
years, that's changed somewhat. However, I do have a lot of friends in America from all over the place, really, in the States.
Yep.
Some good ones. And I'll still go back.
Good.
I love it. And you know what? I'm going to tell you something, by the way.
Tell me. Okay.
When I go to the States, I still feel that draw of being a little kid and getting, the candy bars that are not available here. All of the junk food, like the Hostess stuff. I don't buy it, but I look at it and just like, fondly. And it's like,
You know how magical a CVS is? A CVS is just, it's absolutely magic.
Dude, right?
Like you can get anything in there.
Yes.
A Walgreens, absolutely anything.
Yeah. And they see me coming when I come to America. Like they truly do. Like She Sees Me Coming, America Does. Oh man, I'm like wide-eyed and like, wow. You know, I've been to Chicago, Boston, like all the major cities a bunch of times, but still, every time I go, it's still an experience, and I love it.
All the killer bands that made band names after cities. It's awesome. So my favorite song,
please.
Just Another Nervous Wreck.
Oh. That's like my least favorite song on this record.
Yeah, it's not great.
Sorry, it's not. It's not. It's my second. Go ahead.
Okay.
I'll tell you what it is.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not great, but I think there's something different about it. There's something with like the vocal, like the different kind of vocals, the back and forth of the vocals, are kind of like the gruff and the, I don't know. There's something that I kind of liked about this song.
I'm really surprised by that, actually. The more I think about it. Why would you pick that?
I'm sure there are questions galore happening. I'm sure there are people looking at us like, this kid doesn't make any sense. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He likes this, but he doesn't like that. How is this even possible? I know, and Bobo, you'll say it's all, it's you do you. I get it. It's great. I feel it. I just also can't help but think that either. Like, what's wrong with me?
What about Take the Long Way Home? So the way that song starts is just like there's something going on, but then you hear that deep, dark piano chord and you just know something's coming, right? And then that nice bluesy harp. It's like, oh, that's so, like, that literally is like, there's warmth in that for me. When I hear that, I warm up. I love it. And it's not really a nostalgia thing. It's just, that's a terrific song.
I get it. It's kind of bluesy a bit with the harp. The harp is cool, but I think it was the idea about Nervous Wreck was it was different. It was a melody. It was vocal melodies that I liked, that I enjoyed, and a lot of these other ones seemed a little, I don't know, like even Take the Long Way Home. I don't know. There's just something about it. I'm like, just feels a little.
It's sing-songy. That's the thing. It's fun.
I guess so. Maybe that's what. I like to sing songs.
No, you know what? You do. I know that about you. So
I mean, I used to sing, "Blue" by
Joni Mitchell,
Eiffel 65.
Who's that?
I'm blue and damany, So I used to sing that song. I get it. I get happiness.
Who is that?
Eiffel 65, like a European techno kind of group. No,
not sure.
And people used to think it was "If I Was Green, I Would Die." Maybe it is, or "I'm in Need of a Dime" or something.
What's the year?
Or late 90s.
I don't know.
Late 90s.
I don't know that.
Yeah.
No, I know that you like the sing-songy stuff, but maybe this is, I don't know. I'm going to go away and think about this. I'm going to try to figure out why you don't like this record. I know that's not really for me to do, and I shouldn't care. But
no, well, I don't know, man. I'm sorry, everybody. I don't have a great excuse either. It's just not for me.
There's no apology required, and I welcome it. But like my mind is kind of wired towards like trying to figure stuff like this out. So maybe I should just let
everybody else can. If you came to this episode looking for, I hope Brent touched on some interesting facts for you. I hope that he brought to light some ideas, some thoughts, some pieces of these songs, because I know I didn't. Do we miss anything, Brent? Is there anything else with this?
Yes, there is. And it's non-musical. Okay. So this is something that will... So before I get into that, Casual Conversations. So Casual... You didn't like that song? It's like a nice mellow, kind of jazzy tune.
Yeah, no.
Really?
Again, okay. This is song what? This is song number 9. Mm-hmm. So this is way through. I'm already.
You had already like shut off by then.
Another one again like this. Another song like this. You really?
That's what I wanted to say. Lord, Is It Mine is like my least favorite song on this record.
Yeah,
because it's really whiny, and apparently Davies. This is a Hodgson song, and it apparently is about his spiritual awakening. And Rick Davies used to mock Hodgson about the song. because he hated it. And this is like when it really kind of came to the fore. And then Casual Conversations is about, by Hodgson again, about the disconnect between the two, and the fact that he says, like, I say things and you don't listen, so why do I bother? So if you listen to the lyrics, it's about them having casual conversations, but it doesn't matter because he doesn't feel like Davies is listening to him. So, okay. So the non-musical aspect, there's a conspiracy theory around this record. I don't know if you know about this, that involves 9/11.
Right.
So this came out in 1979, and theorists think that this was a warning that 9/11 was going to happen. Because if you look at the album cover, there's a couple of things. And first of all, I will say, I think this is a bunch of like BS. I think it's like foolishness.
Okay.
But I actually did a show on this on No Sleep Till Sober. I did a segment on this because it's fascinating, the kind of amount of thought and investment that people put into this stuff. It's interesting what they come up with. So I'll go through a couple of those facts. Okay. The first one is, if you look at the album cover, it's Breakfast in America. So it's kind of a take on Manhattan Island, New York City. It's a woman, I think her name is Libby, on her little name tag. She's a waitress at a diner. And she is supposed to be the Statue of Liberty she's holding up an orange juice instead of the torch. Behind her is the city of New York, Manhattan Island. And it's kind of fashioned to look like a diner. It's got like a breakfast plate of food, and then the World Trade Center is like these two kind of cartons. There's egg cartons. There's forks and knives for the ports of the island. There's salt and pepper shakers, coffee cups, all that stuff representing the buildings.
Yeah, that's cute.
You see that?
I get it now. So
here's what people kind of have deduced. Okay. So look at the woman. She's holding that glass of orange juice, right? I'm kind of going on memory here. So the orange juice is the same color as fire, and it's being positioned right in front of the World Trade Center buildings.
Oh my goodness.
See that?
Okay.
So that's number one. Okay. Number two is that if you look at the album in the mirror and you see it kind of in the reverse,
right?
The P and the U from Supertramp look like a 9 and an 11.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. If you kind of, do that.
Of course. Yeah. You can see that. Totally.
Yeah. And then if you flip the album over, you won't be able to see this. You flip the album over, in the lower right corner of it, there is a plane flying towards the World Trade Center, the Twin Towers.
Oh my. Wow.
Yeah. That's kind of weird. But I mean, like, it's
on
just
the
a complete
back
coincidence.
of
Yeah, it's on the back. And then the fourth one, they say, is Breakfast in America. What time did 9/11 happen? 8:45 a.m.
Morning.
Right. So it's like, so theorists think that this is something that was called predictive programming. And predictive programming is a theory that movies, say like E.T. or Independence Day, is preparing us for alien invasion, or the fact that aliens live among us, or that, do you know what I mean?
Oh,
so like,
man, yeah.
So they said that this was like predictive programming. It's getting us ready for the act of terrorism, and specifically 9/11.
Oh, stop.
Yeah. So see, it's not all's lost here. You don't like the record, but there's something fun to talk about nonetheless.
There's some interesting thing in there too. Wow, that is something, man. Great, thank you, Brent, for carrying the episode. I'm just gonna while we're here finish my last Timbit.
Last one.
Oh God, no! Sorry, I just meant my other one. I still got a whole.
Oh, there you go. Oh my goodness. So I got 6 left there.
Thanks, Ma. Bringing these by.
Okay, so
the bounce back episode. What's it gonna be?
What's the rating first?
Oh shoot! I mean, it's Still music that I can't create. Still really talented musicians. Sold millions of records. It's 2. It's 2 for me.
Better than I thought. I thought you were going to give it a oneer.
I don't know if I could ever give an album a 1. Like, I don't know if I could ever give an album that has like cultural significance a 1.
I would agree with you.
You know?
I don't think you can.
I do have to take that in consideration. As much as I didn't enjoy really almost any part of this, like I just can't. You can't deny facts that it had an impact on the musical.
True.
In the music industry. So
true.
That's where the extra 1 comes from.
Okay. Very gracious of you.
2 out of 5.
All right. So I'm going to tell you, before I tell you what the next record is, I'm going to tell you a little story about this little number here.
For something.
So put yours up.
Hold on. Hold that up again. Hold that up. It was a little too low.
No, okay. I will in a second. So Basil is like the old familiar, but I ran out, so I had to dig into this.
Basil is the ultimate baby.
Little number. So bourbon aficionados will understand what this is. This is Blanton's, and there's a story behind this where I'm going with it. So Blanton's is really cool because in Canada, where I am in Toronto, it's very rare, and you can only get it like once a year. People friends of mine have like left their work, and these are people who are in like high ranking positions in companies who have like said, clear my day. Blanton's is at the LCBO and I got to go get one. And that's where this came from. Actually, this is one of 2 bottles that were retrieved in Midland, Ontario. The person drove all the way there from, no, I'm not kidding. I won't say who the person is, but he scored 2 and this was one of them. Now, the cool thing about Blanton's, in addition to, the quality of the bourbon, is that, see this horse at the top? So if you collect enough of these, how many letters in Blanton's? 8, including without the apostrophe, obviously. So Blanton's. This one, there's a letter in each one of these horses, okay? This one is a T. You can see it. I don't know if you can see that right beside his foot. Do you see that T? Maybe not. So if you collect all 8 of the letters and you position the bottles in a certain order, in the order of Blanton's, how it's spelled, you can see the horse running across the 8 bottles.
Stop.
That's pretty neat, right?
That is neat.
Yeah. But super rare, super good, and super fun. Blanton's.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a commercial. I just did a commercial for Blanton's.
Blanton's sponsor. So why is it's incredibly hard to get here, eh? Like
the reason. Sorry, I forgot about the punchline of my bloody story. So I had a friend. The reason why I was telling you this. Good Lord, we should have started the show with this. One of Amy's friends from Australia. She lived in London for 5 years, and she lived with a guy who was from Australia. He is back there now. And he came down to the bar here, and Blanton's is just like usually over there. The bar. And so he said, "Oh, Blanton's." And I said, "Yeah, it's hard to get." He goes, "What?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "No, it's not." He goes, "There's like, Blanton's everywhere in Australia." And I said, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, there's 5 different kinds." I was like, "What?" So he said, "That's like nothing." So in Canada, very hard to find. Australia, everywhere. Frustrating.
Take a piss on one. There's so many. See that? See that callback?
No.
Take a piss. You said take a piss.
That's the UK ding dong.
Yeah, I know. And then I said, and I use it in the fact that they're everywhere. You could take a piss on one. So I just used it in a different context. I used it in real context of
no good.
Taking whizzes. My son's 4. I can't help but have potty talk myself. He won't stop saying poop.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
One of my friend's sons loves the word bitch. So everything is like bitch, which is kind of funny. Everything is like, man, this show is the bitch. And it's like, wait, what? He just loves saying the word.
You want to call Children's Aid on me because my kids listen to heavy metal?
Hey, man, it's a little bit more than that. Rah, 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 rah.
It's heavy metal.
Cookie Monster. Okay?
It's in flames.
Blast
it's
beats.
It's not like it's dying fetus, okay? It's just in flames.
Nightmares. Poor kids. I'm going to call Children's Aid now, actually.
Don't stop. Put it down. Brent, put down the phone.
What's the number? All right.
1-800, go yourself. What? Okay,
1-800. I have to be careful now about this next record.
Why? I don't mean to put a lot of pressure on you, but I'm putting a lot of pressure on you.
Well, the pressure is kind of more on you than it is on me, if you really think
it's always on me. I get it. Yeah. Gotta make a show. It's like we just pulled off a Seinfeld episode with this one, man. We literally made a show about nothing.
We did. So, we did.
Well done.
When I had this record ready to go, in my mind, I immediately thought of another record. And I think I'm going to throw it out there again. And after this one, I have a third one that I'm going to put out to you that kind of returns to the rock. But
it's fine. We don't always have to do rock. I'm fine. If we were exploring, I'm fine to explore. That's fine. Doesn't always have to be rock. It's fine. I'm okay.
All right.
I'll be okay. Sorry, go ahead.
This next record is Meatloaf's Bad Out of Hell.
Okay. I know a few songs from Meatloaf.
And?
So I don't know the full song. Well, I feel like I know quite a few songs off this album.
You do?
What is this? Paradise by the Dashboard Light?
Yeah. 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Yeah. Bad Out of the Hell?
Yeah.
Is that on this one?
Mm-hmm.
What else is on here?
Oh, there's loads. I'm not going to go through all of them. That'll be next week.
Okay. All right. Going into this knowing I've heard, again, I'm not in album context, I'm in album form. There are songs I'm sure I'm missing, but I do know a pretty good handful of Meatloaf songs, I think. So just want to set that up.
Okay. No, and here's the thing about Meatloaf and Bad Out of Hell, okay? A lot of people know a lot of the songs. A lot of people have not listened to the album from the beginning to the end.
Okay.
And I was one of those. I was one of those people. When I was a kid, I heard like 2 out of 3 ain't bad, and then of course I heard Paradise by the Dashboard Light, and I heard Bad Out of Hell, and right. But I'm not going to say either way, but like listen as you always do, start to finish, and think about the entire thing. Okay.
Well, yeah. Sounds good.
Okay.
I think. Yeah, I do really enjoy those songs, so I don't think we'll be coming back next week.
Hey, you know what? It's if you do, then we always make a show, right?
We go. We've made a show.
There's always things like this. There's always a prop somewhere to.
Yeah. There's always stories with forgotten punchlines. That's right.
We should talk about this thing next time. See that thing?
Oh yeah. Is that a T-box?
Yep.
Okay. Cool. See if I remember to call you on it.
Special artifact in there.
Ooh.
I'm just joking. There's something in there.
Oh. God damn it.
Just a T-box.
Just a T-box. Well, that's fine. All right, man. Well, hey, thanks again.
Your face was. You're like, what? Really? What is it?
Well, I mean, you got it back there. Usually, the most inconspicuous things are the most important. So that's all. That's all I was thinking.
All
right. Great. Well, thanks. Cheers, everyone. Appreciate you. And we'll see you next week. Come back,
Hope
please.
So. Please come back. Please come back after the show.
We need you.